Question number 4.
Okay.
And this is a spicy one.
Oh, goodness. Maybe I should eat a biscuit now.
How do you know when to end a friendship? Yeah. Any takers?
I'll go first.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you guys. It is 6 seconds. Okay, yes, it is. So, what? Cool. Thank you. Okay, so today, welcome, Tash. Thank you very much for joining us. It's Laka. Thank you for having me. Brando, Laka, Moy, nice to have you back. I haven't seen you guys in a while. Okay, cool. So today I thought we would do something different.
Ignore the flowers.
And I thought that I would ask you guys some questions and then we just answer them as you guys go. Okay. I will answer some of them, yeah? Okay, you guys ready? Okay, yes, okay. Yeah. What?
Politics.
Political. How should I do it? Should I
Ask
pass
the
the
question
mic?
and then...
I'll one. Okay, and then it'll come back to me and I'll decide if I want to answer or not. Okay. Okay. Question.
Wait. Just to say, you've had chance because you know what the questions are.
Yeah.
To think about this.
Yeah. No, but that's what makes it fun.
Okay.
Okay. Question number 1. By what age should you know what you want to do with your life? Amy.
Inconclusive.
When I know, I'll let you know.
Generally.
I feel like it changes. Like you can decide when you're like 18 you want to be a vet and then go study that and hate it, or really love it and then become a vet.
Okay.
But I mean,
Do you know what you want to be?
I mean it's very, I don't know. Like I don't know if I know. I love my job
Okay.
and I enjoy what I'm studying, but I don't know if I want to do that for the rest of my life.
Okay.
So I have no answer for your question.
Question number 1. No.
I'm hectically nervous, but anyway. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on high school kids to know what they want to do with their life. Because I went and studied interior design and that is not what I'm doing now. So I feel like I also decided very late. My parents were like, are you going to varsity or not? By like September. So I was like, I'm not sure yet. So I agree. I feel like we're constantly evolving and changing. So I feel like we probably won't be doing videography at like 60. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Flying drones and stuff at 60.
Yeah.
Flying drones.
Brando.
Right, at age 7... No, I'm joking. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that there's something that necessarily... Unless you've got a passion that you have or something that your family does, something like that, I don't know that there's something that you must know by a certain time. There's nothing wrong with, as you guys are saying, doing something for 10 years and then changing it and that kind of thing. Also, as the world is evolving, and especially in media and these things, themes or fads or whatever you want to call them change, and you might not want to be recording anybody when you're 40 because what they're doing is not what you do, kind of thing. So, but I do think you need to know, you need to have something to do when you finish school. Like, even if you're going, I'm not necessarily a gap year person, but if you know I'm going to go and work in this industry and get some experience in life, great, go and work. But not necessarily that there's a time that, that you have to know what you're going to do for the rest of your life, because that's difficult.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have an answer for this?
Yes, I do, yeah. Yeah, so I very much agree with you guys. I think that the older generation, like our parents, they very much like started a job and retired like 40 or 50 years later. in the same job. They might have gone up like 1 or 2 positions, or become a manager or something like that, but they very seldom changed careers.
Yeah.
Whereas like with us, it's like, yo, bro, I don't know, I've had like 6 careers and I'm like 30, So yeah, I think it's really cool that we get to have that freedom in today's society, where we can just kind of do whatever we want, and you can figure out what you're really good at and find out what your passions are. Like, cool guys, you got that all right. Thank you. You guys are getting marked, by the way. No, I'm just
Marked.
I'll send rewards. Okay.
We had that on Tuesday.
Okay. Question number 2,
Yes.
which is kind of like a question number 1B, because it's kind of related.
Okay.
Do you
No.
have to love your job? Go, Amy.
Start.
Okay,
I feel like you do have to have a passion. Otherwise, you're just getting up every day and going to this 9 to 5, and that's also a majority of your time. Is you get up, you go to work, you get ready for work, and if you're already not psyched to go to work, then you're like negative, and then you're in this work environment that you hate, and then you come home, and I feel like you could take that out on your family, or so I do feel like there's an ends to a meet, like bills to pay and all those sort of things, but I feel like you have to have that passion. Like being in the wedding industry, there's some Saturdays I wake up and I'm like, oh, I would rather just have a day off. But then you get there and you're like, oh, yay, okay, cool. The bride has like such nice prep stuff, and then you get excited, and then the day goes by quick. So yeah, that's what I feel.
So, yes, I agree. You have to love certain parts of your job. You don't have to love all of it, because I think ultimately there will always be something that you don't like about your job. It doesn't matter how good you are at it. It doesn't matter how much you love it. Like, there will be parts where you're like, oh, this just kind of sucks. So I think, yes, you have to love it, but there are also like, there is probably going to be something that you don't like about it, and that's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
Okay, cool. Okay. I disagree with all of you. Contrary to popular belief, I think that you don't have to love your job. I think that if you do love your job, it's a real bonus. It's really amazing. Like, when you're passionate about it, it's really cool. But I think, like, back to my statement with the previous people, like the older generation, the people who were there before us.
Okay.
Yeah, so they oftentimes got, like, they worked themselves into a job that they really didn't like, but it created a stability financially and just in time schedule and stuff, so that they could plan other stuff that they really do love. Like, I mean, we don't have the flexibility to go away over the weekends because you guys work most weekends, whereas people who have a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday job have the whole weekend to plan whatever they want, and they have that security knowing that Monday they have a job again and they can go do whatever. So I think that it becomes, there's like a
good and bad.
it's like you can benefit from really having a passion for your job, or you can decide, okay, listen, I don't like this job at all, but I'm going to do it because it's going to provide me the ability, or it's going to afford me the ability to do other stuff that I really do love, like spend time with family over weekends, or have the security or something like that. So yeah, that was my opinion on that. No, just different. It's good. Lekker, number 3.
Previous people.
Okay, the previous people.
Yeah. There's definitely a right answer.
Yeah. Do siblings who fight really end up liking each other? You start. You have like millions of
I have like 100 million siblings. Depends on fight. I mean, my siblings, we fight, but I mean, it's not, we were never allowed to hit each other. That never happened, but we don't not like each other either, if that makes sense. And we were all close. So, I mean, I always grew up with, we always joke, there's always a cricket team. There's a batsman, a bowler, and a fielder, and maybe another fielder kind of thing, if my sister played as well, or whatever. So there's always a group of people together kind of thing. So we bonded on that. we liked each other, or we loved each other because of that. If that makes sense. So yes, we fought, but it wasn't a major thing. But then also, I mean, if I look at the age gap between myself and my sister, there's definitely, I mean, there's 8 years there. There's definitely, where I'm at, it's not where she's at. So I could understand if there was only 2 children with a big age gap, then maybe they wouldn't like each other.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I don't think that's got anything to do with fighting. I think you fight either way. Anywhere where you put 3 people in a building or 2 people in a building and leave them there, they're going to fight.
Yeah, they're going to sit.
There's going to be some problem, whether it's the cupboard doors that are left open or what. Who Hendrik is. I mean,
I feel like age has a huge thing, because I feel like when you're younger, the types of fights that you have versus when you're adults are very different. So I used to fight a lot with my sisters because I was the oldest and I wanted to kind of be bossy and be in charge. So there was a lot of fights about that, or like borrowing clothes or like petty stuff. But I feel like when you get older and you learn how to communicate, maybe you also learn how to understand the person a lot better. Like my one sister and I used to always fight, like always. And it was bad fights where we would not talk to each other. But I feel like now that we've gotten older and we've communicated, about what we like or don't like, or, our feelings towards certain things, then now I know something will upset her. So then I'd rather just not do that. So now I'm super close with my sisters, even though when we were younger, you would never say so.
Okay, so far, it's 2 out of 2 years. I suppose, right?
I mean, contrary to...
No, I think, did you say that siblings who fight are closer?
No, do they have to love each other?
Do siblings who fight really end up liking each
Or end
other?
up like...
I think it has a lot to do with the gender as well. Brothers and sisters, I think, fight less than sisters and sisters.
And brothers and brothers.
Yeah.
When guys fight, you fight, and whenever the next day it's fine. Or an hour later, you fight.
Exactly.
Not the same as when girls fight.
And it also, like Tash said, has to do with the age gap. There's too many factors to be like, yeah or no.
Okay. Well, in your experience.
I mean, my brother and I wouldn't say are like, gonna go shopping every weekend together, but we're not like, and we used to fight, I would say, like relatively often, but we also have quite a big age gap.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's always that you would fight more and then, be chilled at the end. I think it's very much to do with how things go in the future. I don't think there's a definitive answer.
I also agree that I think if I think of my siblings now, where we're all adults, if I disagree with what they're doing, then that's their life. It's not my life.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe when we were children, it was me. I was going to be affected because they're going to blame me as the oldest, and then, you know what I mean. So maybe as an adult, I'm like, well, if you do want to be stupid, then go be stupid. I'm not going to fight with you about it. If that makes sense.
No, it's interesting because I very much was like, no, it's not. Like, no, that's not true. Like, it doesn't have to be because some whatever. But then I started thinking about it. Like, do you know anyone who, like, fought as kids and now as adults they're not friends with their siblings? I know
people who are not friends with their siblings, but they weren't really friends when they were kids.
Okay.
Because they fought, and now it's more like they didn't really just get along.
Because me and my brother, we used to fight like wild. And the problem is, I don't know, he just turned blue quicker than I did. So I would hit him and then he would hit me back, but he would turn blue and I wouldn't. And then my parents would like shout at me and I'm like, look, I'm also sore. They're like, bro, there's no mark. So anyway, but now we're like really close and we're like very good friends and we get along very well. But I think it's like what Tash said, like you kind of get to know the person and you realize like you don't want to hurt them like unnecessarily, you want to kind of work at the friendship that you have because it's like you literally grew up together.
It becomes a real relationship.
Yeah.
It becomes a real friendship.
Yeah, 100%.
I think there's also that factor that, well, for me, there's the fact that they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
My mom used to say, you can fight with your siblings until you're blue in the face. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So you two are going to have to get over it and get on with your lives because that's the reality.
You can choose your friends, but
you can't choose your family.
Your brother's kind of your brother.
Exactly. And we don't all live.
Like him,
I mean, we don't even all live in the same towns anymore. But it's that kind of thing that even if you live in the same town, you don't have to see each other all the time. But then converse as well. If I think of like my sister, she's 2 hours away, but it's almost if she messages me now or she messages me in a week, it's just as if she messaged me an hour ago, kind of thing. I don't have anywhere like I haven't spoken to you for 20 days or whatever. She may feel like that, but I don't feel like
Yeah. 100%.
that. So,
Okay. Like it, guys.
question number 500.
Question number 4.
Okay.
And this is a spicy one.
Oh, goodness. Maybe I should eat a biscuit now.
How do you know when to end a friendship? Yeah. Any takers?
I'll go first. I think maybe because I'm the oldest here, and it's not that I've ended many friendships. I was having this discussion with my mom the other day, not ending friendships, but on friendships, and just obviously also being older than everyone else that I've been friends with, barring one couple or one dude. As life changes, because I don't have that life that, I don't have everything that's on that list, So I don't have children. I don't have, for me, there are stages where, you guys are I think we're the 6th couple that I'm friends with that have had children and so on, With others, most of them I've no longer friends with, not because I'm not friends with them. If I see them, great. If I don't, that's fine as well. But it's more because we don't move in the same circles anymore. They've got kids, I changed the church, or they changed church, or... they don't live near me, they all moved to Newton Park, so there was no, and I didn't go past, Third Avenue. If you go past Third Avenue, I know, what's wrong with you? No, but for me, that was the thing. So it's not that I ended friendships on purpose. I do think that there are some where you go, listen, this person is not good for me. Or, I know I said this on previous episodes. I've got a friend or friends, and if I hang out with them, I end up wanting to be stuck in the world stuff of buying and getting better, and that's not who I am. So it's kind of, not that I end the friendship, but I restrict the time spent with them, because I know a braai with them, no problem. But 3 braais with them or 4 braais with them, I start to get that in my ear, and either I get frustrated with it because I don't believe it, or I start to agree with it. So, that's kind of my thing.
You want to go next? Okay.
I have opinions.
Yeah, me too.
I think that we make it too much of like an event. Like, you're like, when do you end a friendship with someone? It's not like you're going to phone someone and be like, listen, we're not friends anymore. Like Brandon said, there are some people where you go like, okay, you're negatively influencing my life now, and I need to kind of cut ties with you. But you're still not going to go and send them a message or phone them and be like, we're not friends anymore. You might, after a few times of things kind of going a certain direction, say to them like, listen, I'm kind of uncomfortable with this. Can we maybe chat about it? I feel if you're mature enough to have that conversation and say, I just don't think that we're in the same place. I've had to have conversations like that before. But I think in general, you as a person know like when you can take as much as you've taken, and then you kind of just go, instead of hurting this person's feelings, I'm just going to withdraw from them, and if they ask me why, I will explain myself, and then the friendship will naturally dissipate from that conversation, or it will get better with like the things that are bothering you, and then the friendship can kind of continue to go in a certain direction. That's how I feel.
I also feel like between guys and girls, it's a lot harder, because I feel like guys can also just be like, okay, well, that's chilled, If they don't like me, that's fine. But I feel like girls also overthink a lot, and they're like, but why don't they like me? Like, I'm a good person. Why? I haven't done anything wrong. But I feel like it's happened, being a girl, friendships ending, and it is awful. But I do feel like I would rather, because I'm somebody who would never want to hurt someone's feelings on purpose, so I would rather just distance myself and then let it naturally kind of either fade, or let them say like, hey, like, what's up, but I have had to have an uncomfortable conversation where I've had to physically tell somebody that I did not want to be their friend anymore, and it was because it was absolutely toxic for me. I used to have panic attacks when they phoned me. I used to just feel it in my soul that this was just not good for me. Anytime I was around them, being contacted by them, I would just freak out. And I thought to myself, this cannot be normal, that you have this huge panic attack every time somebody wants to contact you. And then they did directly ask me, and I had to be really uncomfortable, but be like, look, it's nothing against you. I don't wish you ill in life. It's just that I really feel like this friendship is not for me. And that's really uncomfortable. But I feel like trust your gut, and you can feel when something's not good for you. Sometimes you can't, sometimes you're blinded, and someone else has to step in and say, listen, this person is really bad for you. But a lot of the times you can feel it.
Yeah, that was very good. That was very good. I tend to agree.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I think that sometimes you just need to distance yourself and let the friendship kind of take its course. You know, sometimes, like, I've got friends who I grew up with, and if we had to see each other now, it would be like hitting the play button. But we haven't seen each other in like 4 or 5 years. You know, they're in different countries and stuff, but we're still good friends. But you know, it just happened that way. Or there's some other people that are toxic that you, or not, like, I don't want to call them toxic, but like the whole, just the whole thing was just not good, and it kind of fizzles out, and you'll still be friendly, like, when you see them, but you're not gonna go out your way to, like,
Make friends with
cool. Well done, guys. So far, so good.
Who's in the lead?
We will reveal this afterwards. Okay, question number 5. This is also kind of a spicy one.
Can, like you're making it up. Either read them or make them up.
Can men and women really just be friends?
No.
That's a straight up answer.
Do you not want to say anything else?
I feel like, why must you justify something that's always just going to be a problem? At the end of the day, have you ever seen a male friendship, like male to female friendship, that doesn't just turn into the most poisonous situation? Have you ever? I think if you... I mean...
You're not answering. Wait for
I
me.
mean, if you're a married couple and you have a couple friend, then fine, sure. But you're not going on coffee dates together while the other partner is like at varsity or like stuff like that. You're not emotionally relying on that person. You're not going and texting them without texting the other person. Like, no. It's just like there's too much room for error, in my opinion. So no.
And what if it's 2 single people?
I was going to say, because
Like, can they truly just be friends for their whole life, a man and a woman?
Like if neither of them get married.
Well,
2 single people,
And is there a scenario where no
Yes.
one catches feels
I feel like if they
and
are
they just stay
totally
friends?
not attracted to each other
Yeah.
at all.
I think eventually it will turn.
Yeah, maybe.
I think eventually when you rely on someone so much emotionally, it will turn for one of them and then it will not work out.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. No. Also because I feel like it's incredibly natural to eventually form some kind of a, like, if 2 people say are single, or maybe one of them has a boyfriend or whatever, or a girlfriend, and you end up hanging out with the person quite a bit, and initially you were not attracted to them at all, they were not your type, but then all of a sudden you find out how kind they are, and like you find out all of these things about them that you eventually feel like is part of your mental checklist, and then all of a sudden someone who maybe you didn't find attractive, those things start to look attractive, you know. And I also feel like, maybe I just have personal experience in this as well, but I really feel like if you say that you are friends and you are a guy and a girl, you're lying, because one of you has a crush, but they just don't want to admit it, or they, you know, I even saw a video where they said if you ever have a guy friend and he says he's just your friend, he's lying, because he's waiting for you to either, it's not that he wants to mess up your marriage or your relationship, he's waiting for the guy to stuff up so that he can step in and be that guy friend that consoled you, and then all of a sudden there's something there. So it's not that he wants to home wreck. And even with women, maybe sometimes they don't want a home wreck, but they definitely will be the first in line if something happens in your marriage. So I've just also had too many personal experiences. Yeah. So I really feel like no.
So no from the lady.
Yeah. No from the
Team no.
Okay, so I'm not yes or no on this because I'm single, I think. But I agree 100% with what you guys are saying. Both I always say to the youth and the students and whatever, the same thing. I say, especially if I have one of my students has her boyfriend has a friend that's a girl and best friend, and I'm like, my opinion, I would watch out because that's not, you know. But I think that's same your question, same thing comes again. If I look at myself and I have a friend, okay, so we are friends now. There was an attraction from both of us at the beginning, but it didn't work out. But then same thing, I think that we're friends because I know that there will never be anything with her. I don't trust her. I don't. She's not in the right space, and it's not that if she was to get in that right space. Maybe if she was, but she's so far away from what I consider the right space for me that it wouldn't. But I can still be friends with her. I can still, whatever. I mean, I don't go out for coffee and whatever with her. Not just generally, we didn't do that. But yeah, but so I would generally say no, you can't be friends because I agree. One of them has got feelings, or one of them has got a crush, or whatever, and 100% agree. One of them is waiting for the other person's partner to mess up. And then I think also on the other side, if there is, so the woman has got a boyfriend, let's say, for example, and he does mess up, if she's coming to me immediately, she's not going to him to sort out the issue. She's got the feeling it can be this way, even if I don't have. Yeah, so I think I want to say no, they can't, but I also want to say they can if you both know that that's not going to happen. You know, if that makes sense. But then also, I don't know how much of how deep that friendship is. It's not like best friends.
You're not
If that
going to
makes
be
sense.
BFFs.
Exactly. You'll hang out, you whatever. I mean, I've got this friend of mine that I exercise with in summertime, and we chat and whatever. But there's nothing happening there. You know, tried it, didn't work. So and we both know that. So it's fine. You know. But I wouldn't say the same if it was a different woman.
Let's have something to add.
And Luke doesn't get talking yet.
I also feel like if you feel like you have to delete these messages from your partner. So I feel like if you do have a friend of the opposite sex, if you're not comfortable with your partner to read these messages or know about the friendship, or because, like, for example, we've got these family friends of ours that my husband grew up with, literally in nappies. Their parents are best friends with my husband's parents, so they're two boys and two girls, so they grew up together. But the only reason why I feel like this friendship works is because, number one, I know her very well. I have a very good friendship with her. Number two, I can, if I wanted to, I could read the messages between her and my husband. There is absolutely nothing inappropriate ever. They've never hidden their friendship. They've never hidden messages from me. Also, she is with someone else. She's in a serious relationship with someone else. Me and my husband are married, and I do have an existing friendship with her, and I feel like there's so much openness, and they more so see each other as brother and sister because they grew up from nappies, you know. So I feel like there's no insecurity there, whereas I feel like everything is so open and honest, whereas I feel like a lot of guy-girl friendships are not honest, they're not open. It's more hidden, you know, which is, I also think, playing with fire.
Yeah, I want to add to that. That battery is low. Or something. Yeah, this happens. Okay, so yeah, but I think also if you, like, for example, if I look at Dale and Chantal, they're married. I'm friends with both of them, but I don't talk to Chantal on my own ever.
Yeah.
I do the same with you guys. I have a group. I mean, the only time I've ever spoken to someone is like if we're talking about Hendrik's birthday present or birthday party, or same with them. I make sure that there's never, and if Dylan wants to take my phone, never look, go for
If
it.
ever there was questioned, you would obviously,
just go for it, knock yourself out, kind of thing. You know, it's again that's something I know that they're married, and I know that I'm not would ever cross that space. That means, but that because of that, I feel secure to have friendship with Chantal because I know that's not gonna, that's not there. But that's me, and like that's there are a lot of people in the world where that's not the situation at all. Would you like to have an opinion about this? Okay.
I think you guys took the words right in my mouth. So yeah, I agree. I don't think that a man and a woman can be BFFs long term. It just doesn't work. Someone's going to catch feels, or something's going to be awkward, or something else. Okay, question number 6. There might be a bonus question. We'll see. Okay. This one's a little bit easier, but also still hard. Why is it so hard to say you're wrong? Yeah.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
Okay.
For me, it's not hard to say I'm wrong.
Okay.
I don't think. I'm not often wrong. Maybe that's why. No. I mean, thank you. That's what I thought. No. For me, it's not hard to say I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong. That's, you know. But for me, it's the other side of it. If I'm not wrong, and you saying that I'm wrong, and I'm proven right, it should be reciprocated.
Yeah.
Like, I know people, I know someone who they will question everything I say. They will go to Google, and if they find the answer Google, and the Google agrees with me, they won't say a word. If Google doesn't agree with me, I will be told straight that this is not how it is. I'm like, so that's why I'm kind of like, that's why I joke and say I'm not wrong. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I don't have anything to say about it. Or I suck. I mean, for example, if I take hunting, because we haven't spoken about hunting yet in this episode, but if I take hunting, I don't know as much as you do, or shooting maybe, or whatever. Even though I'm 10 million years older than you, I don't have the experience. So I'm gonna suck it in from every point of view that I can, and gonna go, okay, well, I'm gonna try and get an answer from the middle. I'm not gonna say emphatically this is how it is. And I think a lot of people do that. And I found that if I look at my rifle, I found there's been so many opinions about it. This is the only way. That's the only thing. And then you talk to someone else and they say, but that's not. I think if I'm wrong in something, then I'll say, look, okay, I'm wrong. That's not what the reality is. These aren't biscuits. These are stones, whatever. They're not. They're delicious.
I feel like I discovered this in my adult life, looking back and thinking, and I feel like the reason why I battle is because my parents never admitted when they were wrong. Love you, mom and dad, but it's the truth. I feel like, when my parents were wrong, they never apologized to us as children, and I feel like maybe because they felt like they were parents, they didn't owe us an apology at all. But in a way, looking back on it, my sisters and I struggled to apologize to one another and admit, even though we knew we had done something wrong or done something to hurt one another, it's like you don't want to admit that because of pride and because you don't actually want to be wrong, but at the same time because I never received that as a child. If my parents were ever wrong against me, it was just like, oh well, and moved on. And maybe that's like a little bit of the older generation as well. Whereas I feel like now I'm slowly starting to be a lot more, it's still difficult for me, but I am still open to be like, okay, I was wrong. I'm incredibly embarrassed about it, but I was wrong. So it takes just a lot more effort for me to admit that.
I think I don't know, I always want to laugh when I hear this. The mic, and I'm like, oh. I think sometimes we try so hard to do the right thing all the time, and then when we do the wrong thing, it feels like you don't really know how to navigate that space of like, well, if I tell this person that I am wrong, I'm going to get into trouble, and I don't want to maybe get into trouble to ruin my reputation or, to make someone think poorly of me or, that kind of thing. Because I think of it from like my industry point of view, where if I mess up someone's video, not that I've ever done that, but like if I don't do what they want, I feel incredibly guilty, and that doesn't necessarily make me wrong, but sometimes, like you said, pride gets in the way, and you go, well, I've been doing this for so long, I know what I'm doing, like you don't know what you're talking about, and then it's difficult because there's a very fine line between being wrong and not being wrong with certain things. So, I think it's a part of human nature. We don't like to be wrong. We like to be right.
Cool. Yeah, I personally don't find it hard to say I'm wrong. I think
One of us struggles to tell the truth.
I never said that I was right. I said I don't find it hard to say I'm wrong. I've never disputed. Like I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So.
You struggle to be accused if you are.
No, but that's not the question. What are you going on about here now?
You struggle to admit that you're wrong.
No, what? No. No, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Basically, right now.
So right now, okay.
I'm struggling to say I'm wrong. Okay. That's so funny. Okay, like it, guys. That was a good one. Do you guys?
I think what you said now, it's what kind of, I thought about it now. My parents were easy to say that it was easy to say that they were wrong, you know. Yeah. Even if we got hiding, my dad would say, look, I'm sorry, especially I'm the oldest and I have 3 siblings. There was chaos, I got hiding. Or whatever, I got sheltered, and it wasn't me most of the time. It was one of those animals. One of them that did it, you know, but they would apologize. Yeah. I think for me, what the reason why it's also not difficult is because I'm willing to just put out my opinion. Although I'm not, if I don't have something to say important about it, if I'm going to say, look, I don't know, but this is what I think, I might be wrong, and a lot of times I am wrong because of that, because I don't know enough about it or whatever. But if it's a serious conversation, as I say, I'm not going to, like the other night, I don't know a lot, but I grew up around a lot of the stuff that we were talking about and whatnot, and my mom was involved in it, and so I didn't put my opinion in. There were some things that were said, I was like, that's not, as far as I know, that's not right. There are other things I think, but then someone said something, I was like, wait, maybe my thought pattern is wrong. Aliens coming to get us or what? I think that the issue is saying when you're wrong is the pride and being willing to humble yourself, I think also, although I'm the oldest, I'm the smallest in my family, and I've always said this, if I go into a shop, I don't get discount. My brothers will walk in and get discount offered to them, and I have to beg for it, So for me, I often kind of come from a point of view is when I say something, I'm generally thinking I'm wrong already, if that makes sense. So that's why it's easy to say that. I'm more like when I'm right, I'm like, you actually think I'm right? Yeah, look at that. I could have told you. But there are things that, like when it comes to drumming, there are certain things that there's a right and a wrong, and I'm right, because I've been doing it for 25 years, So that also depends on what the topic is.
Okay. Cool, guys. Thank you. No, I'm wrong. Sorry, guys. Okay, do you guys want a bonus question? Okay. When should you reveal a secret you said you wouldn't?
Who wants to go? Who wants to go first?
Preferably never. That's kind of the ultimate goal. I think that if the secret will hurt other people, in the sense that, like, maybe someone tells you that they're, like, abusing their children, like, you have an obligation to then report that. So that's a very specific situation. So I think it's just, like, dependent on the situation, but generally, if you've promised to keep a secret and it's not going to hurt anyone else by keeping it, then you shouldn't go back on that.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like if somebody comes to you in confidence and says that they're dealing with mental health, and you see them isolating themselves, and you can see this is leading somewhere, then definitely step in and be like, I'm so sorry that I have to tell somebody that you need help. But in that kind of a situation, but that's also very specific. I also agree, like, if the secret is not dangerous, it's not harming anybody else, it's kind of just maybe an embarrassing moment or whatever it is, then fine, but then you can keep that and never tell anybody. But if it's going to harm someone else, or I don't know, then I feel like you can step in.
Just to add to that, I think it also depends on who you're going to reveal the secret to. If someone tells me a secret and I tell you, and I know, like, we're husband and wife, it's not going to go anywhere, but I need help to deal with the secret because it's maybe, like, hurtful to someone else, but they're not going to find out about it, then sometimes I just need someone to tell, to validate maybe how I'm feeling, and to give a response to the person who told me the secret, so that maybe they reveal the secret to whoever they need to reveal it to, if that makes sense. So I think in a marriage, there are very few things that are kept secret between a husband and wife. So, if anything. So, yeah.
Man, those are not secrets. I don't know. This is actually something I'm learning. I have been learning and I'm learning. I don't have secrets, really. There's nothing about me. You want to know what I earn? Not you guys. I'll tell you. You want to know? I have nothing really to hide, if that makes sense. I agree 100%. If someone comes to me and says, listen, and this is what I'm saying, I'm learning it. I have been over the last couple of years as well. With counseling people, they share stuff. But then that, for me, as well as taking that secret, and there's those things of, is this hurting someone else? If it's a secret about me or whatever, it's generally a silly thing then, unless because if it's something that you're hiding, it's not really a secret anymore. It's something that's actually hurting you. Then you don't tell someone, but it might be good to tell someone because you can change whatever it might be in your life. But when it's someone else's thing, I'm like, okay, well, take the information that one of the youth told me. Okay, do I need to tell their parents? Do I need to tell their friends? What do I do with this? Okay, no, it's just general, them venting. Okay, cool. Or, hello, hold on a minute. You need to go and tell your parents, because if you don't, I'm going to, because this is a problem, you know? That kind of thing. But then that's, again, specific counseling, that type of thing. So I'm kind of like, I don't have secrets. I understand completely what you're saying. Like, you guys, if someone shares something with you, or vice versa, you guys tell each other, that makes sense because it's open and honest. But I'm like to be open and honest in general anyway. Like, there are obviously things I don't run around and tell everybody outright, but if you ask me, I will, clarify on the point, kind of thing. But I think the kind of converse is, if you're needing to hide it, why are you needing to hide the secret? What is the secret about? And is it a good thing that you're hiding it? Because there's nothing that's life or death other than life or death. There's nothing that you need to hide from anyone. So,
I think another thing that I thought about now is someone can reveal a secret to you that you can tell someone else without revealing the identity of who it is, just to get like another perspective on it. So then you're technically not revealing the secret because the person doesn't know who they are, but it's just like a good way to get your feelings about it out there. But that's technically still not revealing the secret. You're just, being able to speak about it.
Okay. I also think it's very dependent on, I think, where your loyalties lie as well. Because, for example, if I were to go, walking in the mall and I see Hendrik with a girl and he sees me and he comes running to me and says, oh my gosh, please do not tell Amy. I'll be like, yeah, you've got 24 hours because you're my best friend. There's no way. You're going to go home. You're going to either you go home and tell her, and in the morning, it's going to be me, So I feel like if it was a situation like that, it's like, you're my best friend. There's no ways that I'm going to keep that type of a secret either.
No, I think it depends. That's a good way of putting it, because I was going to say, I think it also depends on the information. I'm in a position now where I get information about the events and stuff that's going on around me. They're secrets now, but I also know that in a year's time it's going to be out there. So it's okay to keep it now because it's going to be out in the open. There is obviously stuff I do here, but then I suppose I'm not taking that, in this sense, I'm not taking that secret myself. I'm in a group of people that's taking that secret. So if I needed to discuss it with someone, shouldn't, but if I needed to, I could go to the people that are in that circle and say, listen, what was spoken about, and I've heard that, I've just heard about it, that was what I heard about, now can you explain, or this is my opinion on it, I think. If it's just a general secret, other than silly stuff like, whatever, whatever, you wet your pants when you were 12, so whatever it might be, a silly secret like that doesn't matter, because that goes out of people's minds when, when the next story comes up. Otherwise, if you're hiding it, whatever it might be, there's a reason for that.
No, I think I should have maybe said this in the beginning, but I only thought about it while we were talking about it, is that well, in my opinion at least, there's a difference between privacy and a secret. So like there's certain things that are just private, like it's not a secret. People say it to you because they depend on you and they need to offload and whatever. It's a private matter. It's use your discretion not to tell everyone. But if you like if someone comes here and says, listen, I committed murder, don't tell anyone. Then it becomes difficult.
Can you just sit here for a second? I heard the phone ringing.
Yeah.
Help.
Yeah.
Push the panic button.
Yeah, 100%. So I think I very much agree with you guys. When it comes to a secret, like if it's life-threatening or if it's hurting people, then I would then say that it's the right time to say something. Like Eric is phoning me.
Eric, why are you phoning while we're recording?
It's okay, it's still recording, so that's good at least.
Eric's part of this. Eric, how do you feel?
Cool guys, thank you very much for joining me and Brandon. It was nice to have you guys on the podcast, and we'll definitely invite you again. That was good. Shoot, Brandon. Cheers guys, see you in the next one.